Welcome to Soul Conversations with Sandra, the podcast. I am welcoming in Geoffrey Johny, HD, the artist. Once again, he's joining us to finish a conversation that we had started a month or two ago now. And we're going to have a good time. And normally, yes, I do my podcast on Friday, but to accommodate this great young God, we are doing it this morning. So welcome Geoffrey in as I wave at him. And let's see, we're going to do it again. And bang! And here he comes. Hello, young God.
Yes. Hello, my dear goddess. How are you? How are you?
Well, I am doing well. I had to do a lot. I'm moving. I'm shifting things.
Oh,
I had a little tiny dark night of the soul that I had to go through, and about releasing control. Sometimes you just can't control things, and you have to just surrender it and let go.
Yep.
Even the people that are teaching other people, we have to do that as well.
Yeah.
So
I believe in that. I definitely believe, a mentor has a mentor. A coach has a coach. There's a coach to a coach, a mentor to a mentor, and a teacher to a teacher. At one point, the teacher was a student, and at one point, the coach had to be coached. So it keeps on evolving, and this is what we do for ourselves as well on a day-to-day basis. When we can
right.
stay aware, we're coaching ourselves, we're leading ourselves. So yeah.
Okay. So for everybody that has already come in, welcome. This is how it works. This is a podcast, okay? This podcast will be generated over my Spotify and my iTunes. It will, as I hope, go worldwide. So if you feel like you need to ask Geoffrey or Geo any questions, put them in the question box. Remember that if you're asking him anything private about yourself, it's not going to be private for long because it is going to go across my platform. So I would hope that you would refrain from anything that's too private that you don't want out there. And that also goes for Geo. If I ask something that you're really not ready to say, no is an answer too. All right.
Appreciate that.
I'm not, this is a two-person podcast, so I'm not accepting in any, request to join. And hopefully in our conversation, we will always look back and try to keep up with the questions and the comments. So if we don't get, annoyed with us, we'll try to get back to it. All right.
We stay in the flow sometimes, so we get lost in it, in the zone.
Yeah, and this podcast is so that you guys, with the energy that we have, our energies, my energy goes out. I will not call it back. My energy has understanding and wisdom, unconditional love, and divine and devoted health and renewal attached to it. So I will not call my energy back. All right. Okay. Hey, I think last we were talking about divine feminine and divine masculine. And there was a book that you were suggesting I read, and unfortunately I wrote it on a sticky, and my sticky got lost. Well, it didn't get lost. It hasn't made itself available to me yet.
Yes, yeah.
So we talk a little bit about that. So could we talk a little bit about that? As far as we were talking, I think when we were talking about it, we were talking about, and I've got to get it in the right, we were talking about men, and men don't cry, and all these old dogmas and stuff, and that men get trapped in relationships too, that when we look at women, we think that women are the only ones that get abused or are in abusive relationships, or whether it's violent or whether it's just through words. And my thing is that I want more people to understand that men are trapped in that too. especially men that are from the baby boomer and older. Those they're just stuck in it because there was this story that got told: men don't cry, little boys don't hit little girls. And I remember when I was a little kid and heard my uncles tell my brother, I think we were having a tussle, and my brother went to hit me, and my uncle told him, little boys don't hit little girls. Remember that. Control that, right?
Yes.
And me as a little girl went, ooh, right? That's
Yeah.
it. And some of those same women that did that too grew up to be women that made that was part of their story. See, my mother corrected me before. My mother, like I said, I don't know if my mother was a star seed. I don't think she knew she was, but she corrected me when I messed with my brother, got him in trouble. You know, and she watched the whole thing transpire,
Yeah.
and then she questioned me, and I gave her a different answer than what she had saw. And she gave me the answer: look, little boys might not be able to hit little girls, but you can't incite a situation that creates a negative space for you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I was corrected that. I got corrected that. But some women grow up not being, not
Right.
chastised, yeah. And they grow up as women who abuse men. They don't know that it's abuse, but it always has been. I remember us talking about a situation that you were in, and that you were glad that I brought that to the table. So can we, and we were talking about feminine energy and masculine energy, and about how both of us, both men and women, have that energy.
Yes.
And that's where we had left off. I think we did a 2-hour podcast. So let's get ready.
Yes, that was a powerful podcast as well. So I definitely advise anybody that's tapping in right now, if you do have time, or when you do have time, just check out the first one as well, so it makes more sense and you can wrap your head around it in general. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. First of all, Sandra, appreciate you for being here and giving me the space to even speak on any kind of topic that will enlighten people and give people a perspective where they can maneuver their life in the best way possible, in a way or the other. Because I feel like sometimes we're not aware of all these things that do happen in our life. And it could be in a way where, like, when we look at it from a point of view, it's happening to us, but it's happening also for us to awaken ourselves to what is and what is not. So if we don't go through these experiences in one way or the other, we will never know that they're there, and something within our own self kind of awaken or gotta change our own path in a way or the other, right? So when it comes to that, and having the whole experience about, men don't cry, or it's more about like not even ignoring certain emotions and then just go through it. It's about like when we live like that, from that point of view, we're basically pushing away a side of ourselves, and then from there, that side of ourselves that needed caring and nurturing to be embodied, now we feel like there's a void there, and then we go on autopilot, but thinking we're doing great because whether we're getting money, whether we're doing our job or our purpose, everything is working fine. But however, that part of us that we've neglected and is basically eaten in the inside. So as much as it looks all pretty on the outside, what's within is not being fed, and that's usually the soul, because the soul is part of our emotions and it's embodying all these experiences in a way or the other. So when we do not when we neglect our inner child as well, that's when it comes to that, because that's where that love is and we need to be taken care of. And I always see it as this, like when I speak about us embodying the divine feminine energy and the divine masculine energy as well, it's us also being able to be responsible for our own inner child and being the parent to our inner child when it comes to, nurturing it as a mother would, by giving it the love and the right behavior and the right approach on things, and also as a father would, by giving it the right structure and in how to be out here in this world and be able to I guess manifest what you need to manifest in a way or the other using your own abilities. Because whether if we are on a female perspective or a male perspective. For females, they're more into their feelings and flow. So they are supposed to be creating their, attracting their, manifesting their life in general in a way where it's like creative, right? Flow, effortless. That's how it is. And then for men as well, it's more like a structure. That's why it's like business mindset is more structure wise from a point of view of things. But when it comes to creativity, you don't need structure. Actually, that's the freedom of structure, of having no structure in creativity, makes it boundless and so amazing that there's no way that you can kind of box it in. So when we embody those two perspectives and those two energies that we both have within ourselves, we're able to, whether if it's construct a business that's creative enough, because we're both using our divine masculine energy and the divine feminine energy as well to cater that, or vice versa, right? Creating a song, but also for you to be able to finish a song, you got to have discipline, right? And that's when the structure of being firm, from bringing something that you started to a finish, that's the masculine energy. And then the creative energy is the feminine within. So when it comes to all that point of view, it's about us embracing everything. And when we have these kind of like ideas or way of thinking that are kind of like, in a way, giving us, limiting ourselves from experiencing ourselves fully, that's what's gonna give us like not the best experience in life, and that's why you're able to like have these things that like you're feeling like everything, you tick everything in your box, that you feel like you're successful, you're happy, and everything like that, but there's also something missing. What is that thing that is missing? Is that thing that you've been neglecting. And that's when we also gotta go within ourselves to be able to analyze that. How can I be a more complete expression of myself, and not in a trying to put myself in a box, but let me be complete, because we all you all start from one place and we end up to the next place, but we all have an experience, a path and a phase where like we are experiencing this a part of me, then it goes away, and then you experience a different part of me, and then it goes away, and then on and on and so forth. And I can speak on that when it comes to me and my music, to me doing being on TV model, and all these other things as well, but being a life coach as well. So it's all these different areas that make who I am as a whole experience. But if I didn't choose myself, if I didn't allow myself to experience those things and not thinking like, oh, I gotta be only this way, and this way, I would have limited myself, and then I would have felt complete within my own self, and I always feel like something outside of me gotta complete me. Right. But I know how this perspective, because I feel like I could go on and on and on from that kind of point of view. I wanted to bring it out on this kind of like how can I say, this way where we can actually understand why it's there, and why it will kind of stop us from playing our part as a role. Like when we understand our roles and our energies, when they come into play, we're able to stand up for ourselves as well, and not like how can I say, allow other things to take over. Right. Because I personally feel like, and you can join in and tell me what you think as well, when it comes to this, that when you know yourself on a whole level, no matter what kind of point of view is coming to you, whether if it's a female perspective or a man perspective or a male perspective, you know how to decipher it and decipher the things that work for you, rather than, okay, your whole reality now, it gotta be what I am supposed to be executing by, but it's not necessarily that. And I just feel like sometimes when we feel like this is the way of being a man and this is the way of being a female, so we follow these kind of connotations and procedures on how to be that way, we end up placing ourselves in a box. That's mainly how I see it. Like we're following what scripture has been said, but to be told, the scripture was speaking in general. We are unique. We are unique, so we gotta understand, like, okay, cool, from that general thing, how can we make it so unique that it only fits us in here, right? Rather than anybody can fit in that same perspective. Now you can tell me what you think about it as well, because I know that impacts your own life to being your own authentic self, right, in a way. Right.
I mean, my journey basically, like I said, 3 years old, I was asking embodying questions. Let's pull it forward to just being to the teenage kind of thing, marry your high school sweetheart and live happily ever after, have the white picket fence and the 2.3 kids and, you know, found out that that didn't work. That was a concept, but that concept didn't work for me. So the next phase of my life, trying to figure out that by asking more embodying questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of those questions might have rubbed other people the wrong way, but that was going to have to be their triggers that they had to figure out. I still had to answer the question. And the question was, the embodying question that actually started to build me was, I was raising my kids using masculine and feminine. Intertwined, both masculine and feminine. I will say that I was more, for a good part of the process, I was always as a protective mother. And you would figure as a protective mother, this would come under the feminine, right? But no, I was always in my masculine because I had to protect my children from, you know, various things as I was training them up in the way they should go. And not, you know, and at the same time, learning to discern, not judge, but, and feeling all of those things out, and not having read a book about masculine and feminine, just only knowing now that I can, placing them there and going, oh, I get this. Oh, I understand this. Oh, I understand how a man in his masculine can get it kind of, that story that they have is kind of so misconstrued that it's kind of like the Bible being a whole parable. It's not. It's not it's not the truth. It's a parable, and it's how you discern it, right? So for me, it was like, oh, I get this. The difference with men, or in that masculine story that has been handed down, they're not given permission to tap into their feminine to allow it to kind of like, to allow them to balance it out. Where I balance, right? I could at the same time that I had to put my child, punish them, or even spank their hand or something when they were doing something wrong, at that same time the feminine would come in, and after a while come in and go, okay, sit on my lap, let me tell you why, I tapped your hand, you were trying to touch the fire, and fire can burn you. Right? And be that loving mother that gives the example. But men, when they come home, they're supposed to go home. What is that? Go home, bring home the bacon. The woman is supposed to fry it up, and that kind of thing. So there's these labels, and men are told, your feelings don't matter. Don't dive into that. When you come home, you're the strong, the wife is waiting for you to come home to rear the children, and you rear them. Maybe you might spank them, maybe you might tell them no, or whatnot, but you're not turning around and telling your son or daughter, daddy loves you. Kind of like when mommy says do something, it's for your protection. This is why daddy. They're not given that permission to go into their feminine and soften up. They're just saying, plow right through it. Don't think too much about doing it. Popeye the Sailor Man. That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I think for me, okay, 60-something rotations around the sun, right? Source brought this to me because I have family members, male family members, who they're not conscious of the story, right? They're just living the dogma of it, not understanding why they have to suffer through what we as women project because of the story and how we read the story. So I was wondering, I just, in one of my meditations, I said, how do I help? Because they're family. I love them. But they hurt. I'm just an empath. that. And Source showed me I'm not into the stardom life, you know, the celebrities. I don't look into their world. I don't judge their world. I don't even discern it for most part.
Mm-hmm.
But Source had me upon occasion on certain little tidbits through my Facebook looking at Johnny Depp's trial.
Mm.
I kept resisting it. I'm going, why does this keep coming up? It's all, every time I would go into the stories would come up, it'd just be Johnny Depp, right? I didn't, so one day there was I was resisting, and Source was saying, nope, you got to watch this. So I just clicked on it, and he was on the stand. I don't know, and I don't remember if it was his lawyer or her lawyer. They asked him a question about what he viewed, his perception of what he viewed when he was seeing his mother and father fight, and his mother was bullying his father. His father just took it.
Aloha, sister.
Oh, aloha, mountain mystic. His father just took it, and as a child, there was no explanation. So what's he going to attract? He's going to attract those same women that are like his mother without the explanation of, why do I get these people that want to hurt me when all I want to do is give up myself, right? And going to do that. So we answered the question as best he could. And then Source said to me, that's where you need to start, because he is coming from that old story. And look, I think he's like, I don't know, 50 rotations around the sun, somewhere in there. And he got up on hold on a second, let me put myself on mute for a minute. I need to be patient. We've got a hot rodder over here who likes to gun his car. And
Okay.
Right? But he stood on the stand and he told people he was abused. There are a lot of men being abused and nobody's standing up and at that point. There are a lot going through relationships, and when the woman leaves the relationship, we're assuming the man was at fault.
Yeah.
Right? Source said to me, that's where you start. And I said, but how? And Source says, I gave you a platform. You've got a podcast. Use it. And I went, and then we had that. That was like within that whole month of that going on.
Wow.
And then
that's
right.
That's powerful. Divine timing.
Right.
Yeah. Based on that, just like that Johnny Depp story, it's funny because I encountered it as well. And with the whole knowing what this media wants to project and everything like that, I didn't want to just type in, because I was like, I'm in my high vibes right now. That's drama. I'm not trying to type in. But then when I did type in, I was like, whoa, like he's experienced something that I'm actually experiencing myself in the same time. So I was like, whoa, I needed to actually see that from that perspective as well. So what I understood or from this whole experience is more like a thing where when we do not acknowledge our emotions, we let things run and think it's okay, and then not actually, when we don't like prioritize our emotions, if anything, we put our emotions like in the back burner, thinking it's all right, I'll brush it off, I'll man up and just push through it. But it's not about that. It's about actually acknowledging, what is this doing to you? Because I feel like, in a way, how the media society wants us to just feel separated. Like, okay, I gotta be just in my divine masculine, that's it. Or you just gotta be in your divine feminine, that's it. They don't want us to embody the God consciousness. And the God consciousness is an intertwine between the two energies, the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang and everything like that. But for us to own that, we gotta know that. For me to recognize the divine feminine in you, I gotta know the divine feminine in me. For you to recognize the divine masculine in me, you gotta recognize the divine masculine in you. So it's all about that reflection, that inner standing of one another, and then we're able to know what is this energy trying to teach me. Because emotions are there to teach you something about yourself and what you're experiencing. But if you keep on ignoring them because they don't feel good, you won't understand how to make yourself feel good, because that's gonna, like, at one point get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, just like a snowball effect kind of thing. And you're gonna trip at one point that you cannot even go further. And those things happen because we're not able to prioritize, or we are not even being taught how to prioritize our emotions or acknowledge our emotions and what to do with these emotions when they come in. Because sometimes we feel like when people trigger us, they're the issue, right? Because they triggered us. They're doing this to me. I was happy, and all of a sudden you triggered me. No, because you cannot get anything out of me that I don't have within myself. You just here poking me, and if I'm happy, you're gonna be poking me. I'm gonna be giggling because I'm a happy person, right? But if I'm sad inside and you're poking me, I'm like, what's going on? I'll be feeling that pain, because it's like that scar that you know how to, that you were catered or positioned in a place for you to know how to trigger that. You know, you had the key. Anybody in our reality that we experience are a reflection of us, are an extension of us, and they have a key to a certain connection within ourselves. That's why they're able to speak to us in a certain way, talk to us in a certain way, or trigger us in a certain way, because they're connected to that situation, whether if it's in our future version of ourselves or our old version of ourselves. There's something when we recognize somebody and we have that person within ourselves, and we are so engaged that they got so much of I wouldn't say control, but like they're able to stimulate us in a certain way. It's because there's something within them that's is connected to ourselves and vice versa. So they're able to navigate that and kind of like trigger that, like the same way how, like, right now as we speak in, we speak in English, so I'm able to speak to you in English, and you're able to receive everything I'm saying, and it's moving you, whatever is moving you. But if I started speaking in a different language, you wouldn't be moved. You probably be just like, what's going on here? Because it would be like, what's going on? Because I'm not connecting to you in that kind of way where I'm supposed to able to stimulate you, right? So if somebody is able to stimulate us in a way as if like they know us, because like, how can you allow somebody to control your emotions unless they know you, unless they matter to you, right? Like sometimes we think about, like, oh, if somebody can tell us we are amazing. If it comes from a stranger, it might feel good, beautiful. But when it comes from your mother or your dad, that you've been waiting for them to be like, oh, I'm proud of you, that will matter most. That will shift us, stimulate us to a point where, like, we're either feeling so joyful or like so compassionate about, like, oh, it's taken us so damn long for you to say that's kind of a kind of situation, whether it's good or bad, right? So when I see it as this, right? When you see your old version of yourself and they're able to control you, because whether if you're trying to, how can I say, um, push your idea onto somebody because you're thinking, I've been there where you were at one point, so you need to do it this way, because if you keep on doing it this way, um, you will not basically change your life in a better way. But that's me having to say something to my old version of myself that way. But I'm bringing that same energy as if I'm upset. But I gotta understand, like, yo, they're living their life as well. I can tell them. So when I tell them, I tell them. But if they don't act upon it, it's their own self that they need to go through their own journey. They don't need to just wake up like that just because you said it. Because you yourself, when somebody would have told you that same thing at that point in time, you would have just woke up just like that. That seed has been planted, and it will take time and nourishment for you to then at one point act upon it sometimes. If the ground is not ready, right? And that's when I
Right.
mainly see it as well.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes we are ready, when the information comes, we can act on it because the ground is ready. But when the ground is not ready and it needs to be nurtured and catered properly, it might just take some time.
Yeah.
And then that time, we cannot really put a limit to it as well.
Yeah, that's right, Boyka. We're planting seeds. But we might not be the ones that source wants us to grow it,
Exactly.
or not grow it, to nurture it.
Yeah,
Some.
to nurture it, or even to pick up this the fruit, because sometimes we just feel like, oh, because I planted the seed, I gotta see it grow and I gotta get the fruit out of it. No, sometimes you just gotta plant the seed and then somebody else can enjoy the fruit, and that's beautiful as well, because It is, but it is. You know, we come here, we share energy, we inspire, we leave an impact, and then everybody else can, for our future generation to cherish, right? So we shouldn't be holding on to the whole perspective like, oh no, I taught you this, so now you gotta be with me, or I gave this to you, so now you gotta feed me, kind of thing. It's not about that. It's more about like just give to give, because you are the chosen one to be given that experience one way or the other, right? But if you just keep on giving by with an expectation, with like a condition to it, attached to it, that is not the righteous way of
Yeah.
doing things.
It's kind of like, it's the law of cause and effect. What you put out just comes back. Yeah, it's just automatic. There's no having to think about it. Oh, if I do this for somebody, they'll give me this, and blah blah blah. I always, one of my affirmations is, I live to give and I give to live. Plain and simple. It works, and then I embody it. Who do I want to be as I'm living to give and giving to live? Well, I want to be this person. I want to be, first and foremost, the vibration of currency. Currency comes in many forms. So I know that I am currency. I am that vibration of currency. What I put out is going to come back. And how much of that quality of what I put out is going to come back as quality too. Why do I want to do that? Because the best version of me is a generous person that I was born as. I don't have to go and look out at the world to become generous. I don't have to look at the world to become happy. I'm happiness. So who am I going to be as happiness as I'm opening this up? Why do I want to share? Me personally, if we take it right back to the men that the two men in my family, in my life, that I really love a lot, my heart, my heart space is feeling what they're feeling, because they don't understand why, when they give to their family, they give to their wife, they give, they're continuously giving. I'm doing what a man's supposed to do. And why do, basically say, why do I get shitted on? They don't understand that, right? So
That's powerful.
and I definitely,
That's powerful.
their other partner, because maybe their other partner doesn't know that they're feeling this way, right? And who knows, in that partner's life, what stories were being told to them, downloaded into that egoic system that's eroded, that hasn't been updated in eons, right? That's taking in information. It hasn't been updated, so the information can't be discerned, right? So here I am. I'm like, okay, where do I fit into all of this? It's like, okay, well, you've got to let people know. How do you let people know who? And my question was, how do you let people know who are, and I'm going to use the air quotes, what we believe is unconscious? Source, and I'm going to tell you, Source gave me such an implode of information that was already there. And Source said, you already know the answer, but here, let's review. Let's just review. And I said, okay, I'm ready. And the reviewing is that the unconscious are conscious of being unconscious. They're not just willy-nilly. They believe that they're conscious doing things. They just don't know that the doing that they are, by what they're doing, is based on an eroded system, right? They don't know that those stories can be changed. They see the stories, they see the dogmas, but they see it in a different perspective. They see it in a different lens than maybe you and I, or maybe somebody who has, then maybe like a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X, who were star seeds. Do you know what I mean? They don't see that part of it yet, but they can be taught to be aware without being awakened. And I went, okay, how do I do that? And Source told me, wait. And then here we are, we're talking about it. How do we get a bigger platform? How do we collaborate about that? How do I, a female, saying that females need to respect men who haven't been allowed to use their who haven't been allowed to tap into their feminine. And men need to allow themselves to tap into their feminine. Who's going to show them? Who's going to show men this without being over preachy and without, you know, throwing a Bible at them, you know, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely conversation like these, like bringing this kind of awareness will get people to like understand from a man, because obviously they see a man, okay, a reflection of them speaking on this kind of situation, but also from a female perspective to see like, oh, I should be understanding this point of view as well. So I shouldn't be crucifying my boyfriend or my husband or anything like that when they're tapping into their emotions and they're being emotional at point in times. Because I just found out as well by Mystic, I don't know if she's still here, but she did mention that men have their menstrual cycles as well. They have like their period time as well, where they experience more things on a deeper sense or an intensive way. So it's all these experiences that get us to understand our own body, our own mind, our own energy, our own experience, right?
What?
So
Hold on a second. Edward Taylor's music says, I thought that was Ray J. LOL. Okay.
That was Ray J.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's you though. But yeah, so when it comes to that, I personally believe that not just last that took me out. I was gonna say
Good. That was a good
that was
kind
good.
of break.
I appreciate that. I was gonna say, oh, also when I started laughing at one point when you mentioned about people like, oh, I'm giving, but I'm still getting shit on. I felt that so much because I was like, yo, that's me. That was me right there. And I was thinking, I'm here trying to make it work with this person when I'm just being shit on and everything like that. But it's what I had to understand is like I should have listened to my emotions, what they were saying at that point in time.
Right.
My intuition goes hand in hand with my emotions.
Yeah.
You know, they're like your body has a way of reacting or responding to certain experiences, and it lets you know whether through like shivers and stuff like that, whether through emotions, when your eyes water, all these things come up for a reason because there's something impacting it.
Yes.
So there's a reason, and for it to be impacted and coming to your forefront to kind of let you know, like, oh, I'm in pain, oh, I feel this, oh, I got a headache, all these kind of things. It's for you to take the responsibility to acknowledge that and see what is there to do. What is it saying to you right now? Oh, every single time this person comes around, I'm feeling drained. I'm feeling like heavy. I'm feeling like I got a headache. I feel like I cannot be free or expressive. All these are feelings, and if you don't acknowledge that, and then this person that is affecting you, and is the person that you spend your 24 hours a day with, you can best believe that your life will not last that long if you keep on being this kind of energy, because your emotions tell you like, yo, we are running on E every single time we're investing our time with this individual, whether if it's an individual, whether if it's a workplace, whether if it's a country, whatever the case may be, any kind of situation, right? It's you understanding what is this telling you. But us as men, if we're being told like, yo, we shouldn't feel our feelings, we shouldn't be all emotional, we shouldn't, like, how do we know how to navigate the world and know like, oh, this is right for us, like this person is right for us, or this career is right for us, or this situation is right for us, this conversation is right for us? How will we know? Because even from a conversation, you're able to tell you like, oh, I'm feeling invigorated, I'm feeling it's like elevating me, enlightening me, beautiful. But if you feel like this conversation is making you dumb and it's boring you, it's like it's taking away from you, draining you because it's so heavy or anything like that, you cannot stick in that conversation. Because if you care about your health, you're like, okay, maybe I can only take a certain amount and that's enough. I gotta go somewhere else. And within me understanding this, I know what I gotta do. Let me go ground myself. Let me go stay in nature for a little bit. Let me go meditate. Let me go have some breath work. All these things,
Right.
all these tools that are here for us to better ourselves, they're there because they need to they assist on our emotions and our experiences. But if we don't acknowledge these experiences, these emotions,
Right.
are we able to use these tools for ourselves, right? So when I had to realize, yeah.
was going to say, there's a old story, excuse me,
Somebody
that
say you both have a good energy. Hey, I appreciate you. We all reckon that's real.
um, there's an old a dogma and a story that has been handed down from generation to generation, from wherever, to women. And this is the basic thing. I want a man. Why do you want a man? I want a man to take care of me. Why do you want a man to take care of you? Can't you take care of yourself? No. That's just the way it is. I want a man to take care of me. Okay. Universe is going to give you that with no other. It's not going to, it's not going to stop. It's going to give you what you want.
Yeah.
So, so the next step is, I want a man. I want a man.
Mm-hmm.
Body in check. He's got money, got a car. He can take care of me. What? Blah blah blah. You get that. The man is. This is the terminology that me and my friends used to use way back. I want a man in dick mode, in penis mode. Man, I want a real man, right?
Big energy.
Right. Okay. But you get that man, and he doesn't understand me. He doesn't feel me. He doesn't get me, right? Once you've got it. Well, I wish he was more in tune with his feminine side. That's the story that ran for a long time. Then when we got men that are in touch with their feminine side, here's the other thing that women would do. He cries too much. He whines too much. He doesn't, he wants me to figure out how things flow. He wants me to figure out, the household, or he wants me to go out and work, blah, blah, blah. Do you see how these stories kind of I'm just going to say it, they fuck us up if we're not watching them, right? We're in judgment of, so one more story. Then we get a man that sort of fits the bill, but it's okay to change them, mold them into what you want. And my mother said, if the man doesn't fit at the very beginning, he's not the right one for you. Right? And I kind of went with that flow. Me and my ex-husband, he was meant to be exactly where he was meant to be at the time, meant to be for himself and for me. That was our story. That was our soul story, right? We were meant to do that. But we were 20 years old, 19 and 20 years old. What the fuck did we know about being adults? We lived Barbie and Ken lifestyle. Go get married, have a white picket fence, or try to have a white picket fence, 2-point something kids. The husband takes, from a religious standpoint, the husband's going to take care of the family. The husband's going to be the religious leader of the family. The wife is going to follow. And that's going to, that's going to be 100% hunky-dory. Okay? My ex-husband happened to figure out his energy that wasn't the flow. It wasn't for him. He was the one that figured it out first. How he went about it by walking out wasn't the right way to do it. But he was 20 years old, and he was being taught by older men who had a different set of perceptions that they were showing him. And all he knew is the older men had been, married. They're married, and they have their wives on the or their lovers on the side, and that's how it's supposed to be. Don't get divorced. Don't let her get your money. Blah blah blah. That whole story. These are stories and dogmas that were downloaded, right? So he just kind of walked out. He didn't divorce, and I thought something was wrong with me. I thought it was me, and I started judging myself, and I started saying, "Oh, I'll never be that naive," and blah blah blah. But as time went on, and I started understanding that I needed to take the judgment away from me. I needed to see what he was seeing through his. I needed to take my masculinity energy and see what he was feeling.
Yeah,
he was feeling the same thing I was feeling, but I didn't act on it yet. While he acted on it, I played victim to it. So what does that do? That builds me into a mentality of not seeing him hurting.
Yeah.
Not seeing him not be able to be his authentic self because nobody taught him how. Nobody taught him how, just like, you know, the men in my family weren't teaching me that I didn't have to be subject to a man. The reason why is they were subject to the story that was being told about them.
Yep.
Right? And here we are now. We're at this, we've been taught now that women and men are separate. We're separate. But through the law of one, we're supposed to be whole.
They need to feel, they need to make you feel that you're separated so then they can conquer you both, right? But that's the thing. We're not competing with one another. When we look at, we say as this, as within, so without, as above, so below.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
on a physical level, we're here thinking it's men against women, or these women and shit, or these men and shit. Da, 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 da. It's not about that. It's about us understanding one another and coming back together. Because what are we doing when we are in ourselves? For us to really be in harmony with ourselves, what do? We understand the shadow side and the light and the light side as well. We understand the divine feminine within us and the divine masculine within us, so that we can combine and embody both of them and know how to use when one part plays a part. Because even our shadow self, even though we've been, or we think it's bad, it's been protecting us. It's been, it's keeping us safe in a way. The other for where it was at. So throughout our life, it kept us to the point where now we can bring in the light, the higher self, and then move forward. Right? But it doesn't mean like now that just because it brought us here and now we're using the higher self, whatever he has taught us, we're not coming into play at one point in time. So it's all about us inviting both sides of things. And that's what keeps us centered in general. So the same way goes with the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and so on and so forth. So if we think that we're going against one another on a female and male perspective on the outside world, we're basically saying the same thing. We're going against one another within our shadow self, higher self, divine feminine, divine masculine. That's what we're saying right now in this bigger realm of perspective things, because that's how it all is. But when we are able to be centered as one and understand like there's a part of me in the other individual, whether if they're the same sex or not, whether if they're from the same culture or not, whether from the same age or not, we're all the same. The essence of us is the same. We're able to love one another, see each other for who we truly are from within, and not for what we're wearing, but what for we have within our own self, our being, right? What we do is just like it's basically something that an outfit that we put on, a hat that we put on. This is what we do. Right. But who we are as beings, that's something that is part of us and it's our nature, essence, and that's mainly what it is. And when we're able to say that we're all connected, we're looking at it from a standpoint of essence, of soul level, or spirit, right? Energy. When we're looking at we're not attached, that's when we look at it from a physical perspective. We're not attached to anything. We're not attached to the experience. We only connected to the lesson that the experience was bringing, but we're not attached to who brought us the experience, or we're not attached to how they did it, everything like that. Do you see what I'm saying? So when it comes from that kind of point of view and that perspective, that's when you embody that God energy, and you're able to know what's right for you and what's not right for you, and you're able to like unlock every single time and a challenge comes in, which is just an opportunity for you to embark on a new level. That's mainly what it is. You're able to unlock it. You're able to surrender to the flow to what is being brought right now, the upgrade that is being presented to you. You're surrendering to it. But if you keep on limiting yourself by sticking to the same program and everything like that, and when a challenge comes, you keep on going head first and not trying to understand by looking at it, because you're reacting, because now you're working out of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind got you on autopilot, and that's when you react to things. But when you're moving consciously and aware, you're able to move with accordingly, and you're able to respond to things rather than react to things. So when the upgrade comes, you're like, okay, cool, I'm seeing it for what it is. It's an upgrade. It needs a different side of me now. I cannot react to the same way. Also, I'm gonna get the same result. Let me move this way, and then I can pass it, kind of thing. But if I don't know that, oh, I gotta jump now, and because it's asking me to do so, but I'm like, I never jumped before, so why am I gonna do it now? Then you're gonna get crushed. And that's mainly the mindset on everything when we do in life. So when triggers do happen, whether if it's us triggering somebody else and everything like that, those are there to upgrade ourselves, to let us know, okay, cool, there's something within you that you have not, that you've been carrying from your childhood trauma or from your old program and everything like that needs to be acknowledged now, because now it's not making you have a harmonious conversation with this individual, or a harmonious experience with individuals. It's something about you that you gotta let go to make it work and be water, right? Rather than just be something that you cannot change and just be not. Now you're water, so you're embodying whatever the experience is asking you to embody, kind of thing. And you're not doing that because you want to be changed or anything like that, but because you are that flawless that you're not how can I say, you're not so attached to your ego that I gotta be this because this is what I've been. But I'm spirit, so I know that I can be this and be that and be everything at the same damn time, right? So when you come from that kind of perspective, that point of view, you're able to move differently on a whole different level, that whatever might have looked so challenging and difficult, you understood that it was always simple. And the only thing that made it difficult was the mindset, was the thing that the program that you were allowed to still keep on running, rather than you just disallowing this program and just being flawless, you know what I mean? And then upgrading that mindset and then using your conscious mind and so on and forth. So
yeah, using your conscious mind. I want everybody to understand that this egoic system that you have, it's just a subsystem. It's a subroutine that your gorgeous, wonderful, conscious mind that source has given you created for you while it was trying to figure out its consciousness. It was figuring out, ooh, I'm conscious. What am I here to do? What am I here to do? While your soul was getting used to the dense body that it had came into. It was just a little bit veiled. And as we start living life, the soul starts becoming unveiled. As we start making free will choices, it starts becoming unveiled. It starts figuring out, oh yeah, I call it the realm of absolute. Somebody else might call it from the heaven realm or whatnot. And this wonderful conscious mind of ours created a subroutine to keep us safe while it was figuring itself out. It's only a subroutine. It's not the main you. But the thing was that the mind said, keep this wonderful creation named Geo safe. Fight, flight, or resist. And that'll keep it safe. That'll keep this wonderful body form of mind safe. But it didn't give it an off switch. What it did was it started figuring out itself. It started trying to merge with soul, and all the downloads of us living got downloaded in this unconscious subsystem that does not discern for you. And the only thing it does, the only thing up at the top of its what do you call it, bullet point page is fear. Fear will keep you protected from everything. Fear will keep you within a certain frame where if you don't walk out, you won't get bombarded with things, because that's all your ego ever thought. Right?
literally.
So and get this, it's embedded in your unconsciousness, and your unconscious feeds to your conscious. And your conscious mind tries to make sense of what it's being fed, and it gives it to your brain, and your brain catalogs it. We've got a magnificent brain. Our brain is a supercomputer. It's better than any computer you will ever have, right? And it files things away. But if this erroneous system has full charge of it, and it's fully running you instead of you running it, then a lot of our old dogmas and old stories just get recycled. On replay constantly. And that's why our life is miserable. or that's why you're saying I'm not happy, or that's why your women are subtly just picking and poking at men, and then men get up, they put on their suit, they put on their 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 face that doesn't show any pain and it doesn't show any hurt, and they go out and they work for 8 hours or sometimes 12 hours, or sometimes they work 16 hours because they dread going home because the shit just starts over again. It's because they're both bodies, both male and female, are listening to subroutines that haven't been updated. They aren't going checked. Matter of fact, they're having you judge yourself. Men are saying inwardly, why is she doing this to me? I give her everything. I give her the car. I give her the kids. Every time she wants a kid, we lay down and have sex, and then there she is again. I have another kid, and you know, I give her everything, and I feel like I said, they feel like they're shitted on. And the woman is saying, well, I'm only doing what I know to do because I grew up that way. And nobody checked me. And I didn't have to check myself. And that routine, that
1 second, be right back. Just gonna go to the bathroom and come back.
Okay. This is a beautiful and much needed conversation. I have to go. Bless you all. Bless you, Dragonfly. Bless you. And I will be saving it. It will be in my it will be on all my platforms, and it will also be in my bio as well. So thank you for being part of it. Just know this about your ego. Source has just given me this platform to make everybody aware that their egoic mind is not their conscious mind. It's not the mind that Source gave you. It's not the mind that is supposed to be in collaboration with your soul consciousness and your body consciousness, and being the creator of a wonderful life that you can create for yourself, that you can be aware of, or observing the egoic mind that gets the more you observe your egoic mind, the more it fades to the background, and the more it becomes part of your conscious mind, because your conscious mind created it only to protect you, but now it's protecting you regardless of if it's hurting you, right? Regardless of if it's for your greater good. It's just giving you those it's taking all the downloads that you're getting. It's not discerning it. Matter of fact, it might be using it for you to judge yourself by and feel bad about, right? So you know, here he is back. He's back. So before we go, you know, and the women who are in the room, don't hate me for this. What I'm going to say is for information, for you to use it, to try it on, see if it fits. One size does not fit all. What I'm about to say might not fit you right now, but you might hear it from somebody else and you'll go, oh, I heard that before. So just, I read a book. It was called, or I read 3 books by Neil Donald Walsh. He wrote a book called Conversations with God, right? And he basically had a conversation with God and wrote a book with God and in the chapters. So God was giving him he was the pen, and God was giving him the information. In the 3rd book, Conversations with God, in I believe it's chapter 2, this blew me away, because this is synchronicity, that we come to this point right now, having another conversation, Geo, about this. Neil asked God, well, I want to know about the devil. And God said, the devil is man's creation. But before we talk about the devil, you have to know where they were at that point in time in the life story, in that era. And he said, oh, what do you mean? God says, you have to understand that Earth at that time, the dimension as third density at that time was a matriarchal society. And then he went on to say that it was matriarchal, and he explained how men and women and what their functions were and how it flowed and everything. And see, we women think we're coming into it. We're coming into the matriarchal society, and this is the first time we're doing it. We're having our ground, and we gained our ground, and we gained all this stuff. It happened before, but when man had their, what did they say? It called it a coup. They struck it from the record. Think how bad how bad they must have felt to strike it from the record. But think how grand the divine creator is to give that information to the male of society now, as we see it. And what we are going through in this whole society, gaining our freedom to vote, gaining our freedom to be, gaining, our freedom to be in politics and blah, blah, blah. Men were going through that in the matriarchal society. So imagine, and we go, oh, it's the worst it could ever be. Oh, this is ever whatnot. But they felt it was so bad that they struck it from the record so that nobody ever knew that it was a matriarchal society. And so when I read it, I was blown away. And I knew it was coming up in the third edition, because my friend has, you wait till you get there. You're going to, that's all she said. You're going to, she didn't say you're going to be blown away, but I was blown away. Then right before we had this conversation, and I was having this conversations with my male family members, I was in meditation. And I was, like I said, I was asking, how do I do this? How do I approach this? What do I go? And Source reminded me, you read it already. You know how it's been presented. So tell people, because people haven't read what you've read. And I went, what I've read so much. Oh, what are you talking about? And one day I was walking past my book stand. I swear to you, the book jumped out at me. I wasn't looking to get the book. The book just fell on the floor. It wasn't like it was leaning on the edge. It just, and when I opened it up to chapter 2 to it, and I read it again, and I just said out loud, this is what you want me to let people know. And then Source said, not people, women. The pendulum has swung all the way forward, and it's swinging back. And Source says, what are you going to do now? The reason is at any time, Neil Donald Walsh could have not put that in the book. At any time, he could have been a full man, all in his dickhood, and not put it in the book. Not let it go to press. Not just, or matter of fact, he could have just dumped the book altogether, said, I'm not going to write that one. That doesn't, he didn't.
Fearless. You
don't believe me? Go get I think it's called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, edition 3. Open it up to, I believe it's chapter 2. Start reading it. And
I think they even have a movie on it as well, if I'm not mistaken.
With God.
Yeah, I think so. But that's powerful.
It's powerful. And I said, well, how do you want me to, I even said, here's my ego. My ego said, women are going to hate you, right? For bringing this up. And I said, and Source said, so what? Who cares? Get the information out there. It's just a seed.
At one point, you can't make sense of the seed sometimes, and that's mainly what it is. Like when the seed is planted, you cannot make sense of what it's gonna grow into sometimes, because they all look the same. But until when it's being nourished and everything like that, then you see like, okay, this seed has made a big tree, and it's not just a big tree; it's an apple tree, or it's an orange tree, and everything like that. But all started within the seed, and you couldn't really identify it until it became what it became, right? So that is definitely powerful in itself. And And that's when we gotta like allow spirit or soul to guide and not let the ego make sense of it. Because sometimes everything that we experience, our mind cannot wrap his head around it at that point in time, but it can only make sense about things looking backwards. Like, oh, this had to happen for this to happen for here, and then not for me to be here right now. That's the mind making sense of things, of time, things I must experience. However, the soul already knew, and that's why the soul embarked in this situation. The soul and spirit was co-creating with the universe, because we are the universe experiencing itself. When we look at it from a bigger standpoint, on the essence, knew what it was gonna match to. Like your thoughts, when you're consciously thinking positively, you know what you're gonna be co-creating with the universe. That's why
Right.
you're positively, consciously thinking and affirming certain situations, right? But if you don't know of what it is, and then you move in unconsciously, you just go with whatever is being brought to you and you just eat it. Whereas like essentially, if you know what works for you, if you know that you're allergic to peanuts, you're not gonna just because they're serving peanuts at the, I don't know, at the baseball game, you're not gonna just pick them up like, yeah, I want some because I'm just joining everybody. You don't know yourself. If you knew yourself, you're gonna know like, okay, if I join this, I'm gonna be sick. Everybody's gonna be enjoying, but I'm gonna be sick because I don't know myself, right? So once you know yourself and move consciously, that's mainly what it is. And now I see a comment in the thing that says conscious mind protects us. No, the conscious mind doesn't. The subconscious mind protects us because it knows what it knows. Now, if we keep on sticking to what we know, we don't allow the unknown to come in. And we basically, when we say like, oh, I know everything because I know, we're moving from a point of view of we already know everything, and we're not going to allow anybody to kind of teach us. And the most successful person in life is the person that's always will remain a student, because it's able to upgrade itself every single time. As a student, you're looking for the new information that is being that revolves around you right here, right now. Right now, we're using AI to move on with life and technology. If you are gonna be stuck in your ways, like, no, I don't want AI to work to. Just gonna, that whole fearful thing of like AI's gonna turn on us, the same way how we thought technology was gonna go crazy, internet was gonna go crazy, all this stuff, and now we're using it to our advantage to connect with others. That's the same thing. But if we keep that same mindset and we don't allow ourselves to go with what the universe and the world is going upgrading itself to, and we decide, I don't want to upgrade myself, I want to stay the same way and live the same how I always lived, kind of thing, I'm going to make it challenging for myself, because everything around me will change and I cannot control the things that are around me that are changing. So all I can do is control myself to be in the best shape or mindset, on a mindset level, on an emotional level, that it can be, to go with this times right here, right now, right? So that's what it is.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You got to understand your conscious mind. That's the mind of source, right? But what's being fed to the conscious mind, if it's by the egoic mind, it's going to, and the egoic mind is feeding that frontal lobe, that conscious mind. If it's feeding it something that we aren't observing and discerning, then our conscious mind will only give to our brain what's being delivered to us, even if it's the conscious mind from the from source, right? So if we start understanding that we have to be discerning of each thought that's being presented to us and where it's coming from, and understand that our ego doesn't want you to observe it, right? It doesn't want you to observe it. It's going to play tug of war with you. It doesn't want you to observe it, but the more you observe the thoughts that are coming through, the more you say, is this, and all you have to do, you don't have to say, is this from my ego or is this from, source? You could say, am I aware? And source will move to the front because source has gone nowhere. I remember the old religious background that I came from, where you hear the women who are wailing, oh, God's forsaken me, God's turned away from me, God's blah, blah, blah. God hasn't gone anywhere. God is just in the background. God hasn't gone. God is in the background. When you decide to stop to observe your ego and what it's telling you, Source is going to move to the foreground and say, okay, you're aware. What are you aware of? Well, I'm aware that I'm having this thought. I want to know if it's for my greater good. And then source is going to say, well, what are your feelings saying? Okay. Well, how do I know about my feelings about this thought? Well, what are your emotions giving you? Because your body, if you've had that thought for a while and you've been sitting with it for a while, your body is going to react to it. What's your body telling you? I've given you everything that you ever need, all inside of you. I packed your little bag. Gio. You have everything and the kitchen sink in there. And source is saying, use it. Start discerning. Stop judging, right? And then what you give your conscious mind, that's what's going to be your creator. And that's what the universe is waiting for you to create. That's what the universe is saying. That's how you're going to tap in to your masculine energy and your feminine energy, and you're going to know how to use it and create from it. That it's okay for you to tap into your feelings, because your feelings are what help grow you and expand you and allow you to create, right? And it's like, but right now our ego has us separated from all of that. It's saying, oh, I only like Gio because I want to date Gio because he's handsome, he's rugged, he's strong, and he probably is. When we go to bed, he'll probably be very good in bed. That's what I want, right? But they haven't said, I want to get to know Gio. I want to get to know what Gio thinks about Gio.
That's deep.
Right?
The program is that embedded that way that makes you move, and that's that's powerful. That's what you always gotta think every single time with these emotions and these thoughts that come in, because you're not your thoughts and you're not your emotions.
That's
you're
right.
just the experience, like it's experiencing these emotions or thoughts, because you cannot stop thoughts from coming in. They will always keep on coming in because your brain is a receptor, right? It's gonna keep on attracting all these things and the emotions as well. You feel me? So you will experience this, right? However, what you can do is decipher these emotions, decipher these thoughts, and understanding where are they coming from. Is this emotion that's bringing me in gonna bring me to a prosperous solution that my higher self will be proud of? Or is this going to bring me to a prosperous solution that my lower self will be proud of? Am I looking to feed my higher self or lower self? These thoughts and consciousness, I mean, what am I doing? Am I allowing myself to grow, or am I allowing myself to stay the same? And
Right.
is me staying the same going to basically go from me being the same and going back to low, or me keep on growing and going all the way high? Right? That's
Right.
all of these kind of like questions that you gotta ask yourself every single time you're and then like, okay, cool, am I moving from my subconscious mindset or program, or am I moving from my conscious program to where I want to go? Because you can still move consciously and be aware, right? But you can still act on the wrong things, right? Because you're thinking, oh, it might be that, but at that point you moving consciously, you can still allow your mind to kind of tell you, to give you a reason why you should do so, when you're basically doing the same thing that you've been doing. And that's what it is, because like you gotta also be aware of where you are. If you allowed a certain program in your mind to keep on running for God knows how many years, 20, 30, 40 years, however long it has been, your whole body is more used to receiving those programs and acting on those programs. So now if you want to move consciously, it's not going to just happen overnight, that now all of a sudden every thought that comes in is like the right one for you to go
Right.
and be successful. If
Right.
your whole program that you've been running has been allowing you to just be a failure, right? But just because now you want to say like, oh, I want to be successful, so now I'm consciously saying I'm going to be successful. So every conscious idea that comes in, I'm going to consciously say, yeah, I'm going to use you, not knowing where it is because I'm not used to. It's not going to do that, right? So that's when you got to understand that it takes time for you to understand how the program has even been placed there, and where does it derive from, for you to like poke it out, remove it, and then plant the right one in.
Yeah.
But all those things happen when you move from a standpoint of awareness and asking yourself, where is this going to lead me to?
Right.
Because even though right now I may be feeling hungry, or maybe a sense of like, oh, I want to, or I just see this, I don't know, this thing on TV, and it's like, oh, eat McDonald's or something like that. I'm like, oh, I'm just, yeah, it might feel good, you know, it might taste good. I'm like, shoot, good, but that
Right.
in itself will be like, is that good for my higher self? My higher self knows like, yo, McDonald's is not good for you. But my lower self will kind of tell me like, but you're hungry now, Gio. Like, you don't have no food at home right now. You can just go right here to McDonald's. You can ask them for delivery, and they'll have it ready for you. You don't want to cook, so just have it delivered. All these excuses are making me like, you know what? It's okay. And that is gonna end up doing what? Give me that instant gratification. That then at one point is gonna give me a sensation that I'm like, oh, I regret it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And that's mainly when you're gonna understand, is this solution or this action gonna bring you to a solution of an instant gratification, or it's gonna bring you to a solution that is gonna, you know, benefit me for, you know, months and years to come.
Right.
That kind of thing. Because now the program, the society, and everything like that is getting us used to have things, want things quickly, right? Like with this Instagram, instant notification, all these things are moving quickly. Like now we don't even have a long-term span. Like we have a short-term span, like attention span, like we can just only look at certain things for 30 seconds and then it's like next.
Once upon a time we thought that the algorithm was going to be great. Oh, that's going to be great, the algorithm. But you didn't know that they were priming you to be like the algorithm, because basically they were saying anybody who's going to use our platform, this is the algorithm. Only do 3 30-minute videos, because everybody's too busy. They're not going to stay with the video, or everybody's too lazy. You've got to tell people, if you like my video, follow me. If you like my video, like it. If you like my video, share it with people. That you wouldn't do that anyway, you see? And we get so used to that. I mean, it's kind of like, for me, I had a problem with it. I said, you know, Source, why am I having a problem with this? Is my ego trying to play tug of war, and it wants me to fall in the mud? And I said, I just don't get this. You know, I was learning how to maneuver across all the platforms. You know, I have a Facebook, I have, you know, Instagram, I have YouTube, I have Spotify, and I have Anchor, and I have iTunes. And each one of them has a different algorithm. And when a friend of mine was trying to walk me through it, and it was kind of like the way she was saying it was giving me information, but it was instilling a lot of fucking fear in me. It was like, oh my God, you know, and that all my platforms depended on the other people for me to succeed. That other people were for me to succeed, because they're who I want to get the information out to. And then, you know, I was looking at some of the information, the algorithms, and I said, this makes people seem like they're stupid, like they're complacent, that they don't do anything, that they have to be held hands doing it. And I said, and I said to my friend, I said, do people understand that the algorithm is making them being seen as lazy?
That's, oh my God, you said it right there. And I was thinking about it today. Like right now, where we are with technology, if you think about it, it's making us, you know, want things quickly. So then it's like we don't want to wait for the journey, the process, right? To build something. We want to like real quick microwave that real quick, you know? And it's like to the point like we're gonna get to that point where like we don't even want to go outside and experience work. Like even for a walk, it's too long. Even to go to the gym, it's too long. Even to go to like a session at yoga, it's too long. Like we want to just do it right now. Even maybe it will get to that point that we won't even want to move from our own beds. Like we like, you know, we want everything from our own bed. Delivery is coming already. You know what I mean? Amazon's Prime is already on our doorstep, so we don't even have to leave to go to the post office or send something out or get it, kind of thing. Everything is going to be right here.
Right. I'm just waiting for the flying cars. That's all.
That's gonna be lovely. Hey, at that point, I'll be enjoying that. But it's it's funny, but it's only funny when we're able to play with it. But if we let it play us, that's when it's gonna get to the point like it won't be fun anymore. You'll be like, oh my god, what's happening? And that's when you have to know how to be in control and be able to control and play with the algorithm, play in this matrix and control the matrix rather than letting it control you and play you, rather than it's the algorithm or anything like that. Because knowing how the algorithm goes, it has its own agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
So knowing this on how it wants to get us used to like just short form content, it can be useful because we're able to deliver the information quite. It's gonna push us to deliver the information quite concisely and briefly as well, right? Instead of just making a whole story long, and then boom, we can get that like 30-second information and run with it and probably act on it right away.
Right.
However, if we don't know how to use our own tools, whether it's meditation and things like that, to expand our focus, we're going to be more used to like just seeing 30-second content and only have our focus for only 30 seconds, and then have to like, so when we got to stick into a seminar or something like that that's like an hour, 3 hours long, 10 minutes in, we're like, oh my god, like, yo, what's going on here? Like, we're
Yeah.
going to be forming these
Already watching the clock. How much longer? You're watching the clock instead of listening to the information.
and be in the moment, and that's
Right.
when it's going to cause you all these symptoms that is going to bring you to a disease. At that point, you're going to call it ADHD. Like, I cannot stay still. I got to move. I got to da. But it's because of the lack of things that you've had to do for yourself now to help you know how to stay still, because you'll be told you are able to stay still. It's just your mind that you allow your mind to control you that way, because it's been programmed this way now, because
Right.
you allow it to get to that point. But you can still allow your mind to be programmed in a certain way where like it works properly, right? It stays focused, it stays still
Yeah.
when you ask it to stay
Yeah.
still. It thinks differently, it looks at things differently as well, because if your mind has been programmed to look at opportunity or problems as problems and that's it, that's how you're going to see it, and you're going to look at a problem and probably even bring more problems to it. But if your mind is being programmed to look at a problem as an opportunity for a solution, you won't be stuck at the problem.
Right.
You'll look at a problem and already look at it for a solution, because your mind is already on that, knowing like, oh, it's an opportunity for something. But if it's stuck on just this is the problem, that's it, boom, you only start
Yeah.
on level 1, where maybe level 10 is, now you got the solution, right? But if you don't practice your mind and train your mind to that point of view,
Yeah.
you're gonna stay there. You're
Friend,
never gonna be resourceful.
I have a friend who says, she says, I don't talk about politics. I really don't. Okay. The reason why it doesn't mean that I don't stay up on it. I don't, I don't stay up on it. I don't talk about it simply because if I'm talking about it and repeating the negativity of it, I am part of that negativity.
Indeed.
I am part of that growth of negativity. Now, if I see something and I say, oh, there has to be change, either I have to um, uh, align with somebody that is talking about the change, which doesn't happen often because most human beings like to talk about, for at least politics, we like to talk about the negative of it. We don't automatically go to the change that's needed, the positive energy. So what I do is I see and I go into a meditative state and I hold space for what I would like to see happen, positive, the positive energy that I would like to open up, so that once maybe a politician awakens, they go right to the answer, and I hold space for that. And my friend had said, well, that just seems like you're not taking a side. I said, that's what it seems like, because that's what it is. It is. I choose not to say a negative or a positive, because really there's no negative and positive except for the label that somebody has made of it, right? For me, right? And of course she said, oh, that doesn't make sense. I just think I just think you need to figure out where you're going to sit at. I said, based on your perception, okay, no. See, that's my answer. My answer was a full sentence.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I love that.
Right?
And even the way you said it right there, I stood in my meditative state and witnessed it. That is so powerful. I think people need to hear that more and more and more often, because that's the power of being able to just being present and not subscribing to any kind of situation, just witnessing it. You know? Because that's like we don't practice meditation on our own time just for our own self. We practice meditation for us to navigate the world and look at the world in a meditative state, right? And be aware enough to decide and respond what to subscribe to for our own vision, where we're going. Because if we know where we're going, so we have a place to go, a destination to go, we're going to be moving with intent and integrity towards that destination, to make sure, like, you know, we stay consistent and we stay committed to the destination, right? So you're going to move with intention in everything that you do, whether if it's conversation that you're engaging with, you're going to have to move with intention. For you to move to intention, you have to, like, be aware and be able to know how to discern certain conversations, or even if you're in that, be able to be in that meditative state. Allow these thoughts the same way the person is speaking to you. Yeah, allow it, but you don't have to, like, subscribe to it, just make a whole conversation. You can just, you know, cool.
Yeah.
When you got to that, boom, this is not where I'm on, and that's it. And that's you being in control. But sometimes we feel like, because of society, we have to, like, engage in every little thing. We have to, like, oh no, I gotta put my 2 cents into this. I gotta put my own opinion into this because you brought it up. Oh, I gotta say something about it. Like, I didn't personally. Let's say we're speaking about, I don't know, the weather today, right? It didn't. For me, it could have been raining. It could have been sunny. I would still move the same way, right? So it's all good. It's raining though, unfortunately. But yes, it's actually sunny, but I just make it up like it's raining. It's raining, unfortunately. And then this individual comes out from the outside and is, like, telling me, like, "Oh my God, it's so rainy. It's a bad day today. Oh, so bad today. Like, why? Because it's raining outside." To me, my day was going well, and it's still going well, and I'm happy. Cool. Whether if the rain is out or the sun is out, it's still there. This person experienced that, and they're on that experience, which is cool, and they brought up to my awareness now. Now, my intent is to, like, have a beautiful day no matter what. If this person brought up this conversation to me now, he's telling me, like, oh, it's a bad day today. As far as I knew, it was a good day, but it's cool because it's raining. Look at the rain. Look at it, so stormy. Da, 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 da. I can just hear this person, hold space for this person by being in my meditative state, allow this person to vent however they want to vent, not let this venting blow me away one way or the other. I'm just stay still, firm, boom, you done? Cool. And then I choose to speak on something that's gonna still bring me to my prerogative, my agenda, which is what staying happy. So I'm gonna be like, after the whole rain is gone, okay, but what made you happy today? Oh, did you see this new show? I don't know. Just bring something up that was gonna make the person happy, to turn that energy that they brought and alchemize it and bring it into what you want to experience now. And you're like, okay, cool. Well, I just made some food. You gonna enjoy it? Something like that, and then it would turn turn that whole experience around. Whereas, like, you stayed true to your source and your intent, which was staying positive, right?
Right.
And you, even though the opposition came by, you didn't subscribe to that. You allowed it, and then you said, "Let me give you another hand."
Yeah.
Let me share more of my point of view, my experience, which is what good vibes. Let me give you some good vibes. When I eat, when I'm going, whatever the case may be, right?
And the thing is, even if a person is in a negative vibe, know this, that source says, yes, that's a choice too. Source says yes. Source doesn't say no. Source doesn't say bad person. We're going to put you on a timeout. Source just says, okay, that's a choice. You know, it's a possibility. Why? Because Source created the energy. Source created the possibilities. Source knows every intricate thing, that every choice that we'll ever choose. And a lot of people would say, well, why did Source allow me to choose blah blah blah? Well, here we go. We just go back to free will. It's just that plain and simple. It's just free will. Source is not going to take your free will away from you. Why do we have free will? Because source is moving in, through, and as us, feeling us, making those choices. Source hasn't put a good or bad on its energy. We did that.
The
We
man,
did that.
the man-made.
We did that eons ago. And
Meeting.
right. And at one point in time, there were fewer leaders and more followers. And as we are waking up and we're allowing, our soul is calling out to us saying, okay, I remember where I came from. I came from absolute. Hey, up there, Geo, up there. Do you want to hear where you came from and why you're here? And Geo can say, I think I'm going crazy because I'm hearing voices. Let me go to a psychiatrist. Or Geo could say, let me go meditate on that. Let me go into my meditative room or my prayer room and let me find out some answers. I feel like I have a divine question that's resonating in me, right? Those are free will choices. And source hasn't left you. Source, either your ego is in the foreground, and the moment you say I'm aware, or the moment you say I am, all you have to do is say I am. The ego says, shit, Geo did it again. I got in the back seat. Shit, Sandy did it again. I got to get in the back seat. And awareness just flows to the forefront and says, yes. Just like a genie in Aladdin's lamp. Your wish is my command. It's not going to hold any ground for you. It's not going to make any decisions for you. You get to do all that. You get to make all those choices, right? And it's like, so with back to the algorithm, that's what I did. I said, I don't like these algorithms. Source says, well, hey, Sandy, come here. I'm the algorithm. I'm the only algorithm you need. If you want me, just call on me. And I went, ooh. Right?
Oh my God. And that's you right there, navigating your own world, narrating your own experience. You are the one. You can be the glitch in the matrix. If the matrix is going all the way this way, you can be the one that's going the other way around. It's all up to you. You have the free will. And I love how you said it right then and there. Like, source, whether if it's negative or not or positive, it's your experience. Source knows that you enjoy this, even though you might tell, like, I'm not enjoying this negative experience. Source knows only what you're putting your focus on, and you're giving yourself energy. You're giving it energy, whether if it's an experience or not, it is good or not. It's so like, okay, well, it likes this. If you don't like this, why are you watching this? Why are you looking at this? It's like basically asking the little kid in the mirror that's window shopping, looking at their favorite bike.
Right.
You're gonna be looking at that like, oh my God, I want it, and focus on it. It's got the dad or the mom is gonna see like, oh, they might want this bike. And
right.
At one point, Christmas time is right down the corner. We're gonna get this child a bike because he's looking at it, right? It doesn't. You didn't even need to ask him. You just assumed this is what it was because you're paying attention to it. Same goes with stores. You're just a little kid that you pay attention to your problems. Oh, he's the way he's looking at them. It seems like he wants a microscope or something. So let me give him more of that. Give him more of that so they can get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, oh my God, now you got more problems. Right? Same goes with your solutions and the gratitude and the happiness. The more you're happy and grateful for all these little things, the source is going to give you more things to be grateful for. You're like, oh, another thing to be grateful. Oh, another thing. You're like, why? Because it's like, this is what you want, right? This is what you pay attention to. So when you're able to move with that kind of consciousness, you understand that you always have been a master manifester. You've been manifesting your life since day one with whatever program you're allowed to. Not even the program, but because the program can be running, but it's what are you doing? Are you gonna allow the program to run, or are you gonna just say, if the program is telling me to go left, I'm gonna go right? Because I know this program that I've been on has been obviously bringing me to the wrong side, so let me do it the opposite way instead now, right? And that's meaning you moving with your conscious mind and understanding, okay, cool, this thought is here, but it's been the same thought that I've been given for the past 10 years. Maybe let's change it up a little bit. See what brings me up on the next side. And then, like, wow, I'm experiencing something different. Because what? Now you embark into something that you don't know, because you stop doing what you've been knowing and you start doing something that you didn't know, and you experience something different, right? And that's the same thing.
And I used to use this example, and basically, this is like anybody and almost everybody has shopped on Amazon, right? We've all done that. Amazon will send you emails with, they keep your shopping pattern. They do. And they'll email you with suggestions of from your shopping patterns. Well, the universe holds on to everything that you've ever thought of. When you start thinking about it again, the universe says, oh, I remember that one. Let me go pull this one out. Oh, wow. He's still thinking about it. Oh, wow. He's still thinking about it. All right. Here we go. Your wish is my command. And just happen. And the thing is, you could be thinking about it and not knowing that you're thinking about it. And people will say, well, I wouldn't have created that stupid shit. I wouldn't have created being hurt or feeling, unhappy or feeling lost or feeling pain or feeling depressed or feeling anxiety. But yes, you did. At one time, you had this thought that you held on for a long time. You didn't know it. It was just on a continuing loop cycle from your egoic mind saying blah, 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 blah. And, it happened. But it could have also been that you shifted and had a different thought, and that thought got buried. We are universe. We are the universe. It's not an out there, up there in the universe. We are in the universe. So it gets pulled into our universe and held there. You can call the universe your unconscious, and your egoic mind is the head of your unconsciousness. It is the ringmaster of your unconsciousness. It is the playground attendant of your unconsciousness. It is the holder of all the cards that are being stacked up. In, do you know how when I was a little kid, we used to stack the deck of cards? Right? Until one person stacked it on there and it fell down because they didn't do it. Well, that's your ego. Your ego is stacking those cards in your playground and giving you all that information and holding on to it and being the Amazon and sending off those emails saying, are you ready for this one? Ooh, are you ready? Right? And if you aren't observing it, and all you have to do is be an observer. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is observe the thinker. And the thinker is your ego. Constantly thinking, constantly yapping. Go ahead.
I want to say something. I just love to piggyback off what you're saying right there. Sometimes I see people, right, finding it so challenging to be the observer. Whether it's more challenging to be the person that's acting on every little thing rather than just standing still and allowing things to be. Right? We use so much energy in reacting and engaging and all that stuff that we could have just stand still for a little bit, observe it, right? And then respond. And that response would have just gave us, we would have had so much energy for just that one response that we would have just boom. If it's basically like saying you just needed one, not promoting killing on here, but you just needed one shot to have that sniper thing, and then but if you have this I don't know, this AK that you just want to shoot you just shoot around and everything like that because you're thinking you might just hit the thing, but you just needed that sharp shooter, pump, and that's it, job is done. And it's all about that focus, right? We need to have that focus and knowing okay, cool, I'm focused on the bigger picture. I'm focused on my aim, my goal. Everything that's happening around me right now is either contributing to my goal or distracting me from my goal.
Right.
Now they're gonna come in. They don't just come one as one. They just come as everything. It's gonna keep on coming. I'm gonna attract. When I walk into the street, you don't just think, okay, I'm gonna attract only females when I walk into the street, and I'm gonna attract only males when I come into the street. They're just gonna come whenever they come. You know what I mean? Male, female, boom. you're not gonna only attract red cards when you come in. They come in different colors, right? Same way. These are the thoughts and the things. Whether and if your intention or aim is to only see red cars or engage with red cars, you're not gonna be when the other cars come in, you're not gonna give them too much of your energy because you know,
Right.
like I'm only supposed to engage with red cars. Now, if you just said to yourself, I'm gonna engage with cars, now you're gonna have to engage with all these other cars. Beautiful.
Right.
The same way how we say like, oh, I'm gonna engage with conversations. Somebody's wanna talk to me. Oh, I'm gonna talk to them. I don't matter. That's conversations. Can go anywhere, right? Any cars. But if you're gonna be specific, I'm only gonna engage with conscious conversations. Only gonna engage with conversations that add on to my experience by knowing, by pushing me towards the aim and the goal that I'm supposed to be going. I'm gonna be saving so much time,
Right.
and energy when having the right conversations with the right people. When I know like, okay, this person is talking about everything that is not for me, I'm gonna discern it and allow it, and then boom, move forward to the next one. I'm gonna have a better experience in experiencing what I need to experience because I'm not engaging with everything that comes into my experience.
Right.
Right? That's
Exactly.
mainly what it's all about. And I think that I know that's how every successful person does it in whatever you're successful at. Whether if you're successful in your marriage, whether if you're successful in your business, whether you're successful in your career, whether you're successful in your health, whether you're successful in your emotional mindset, spiritual mindset, is all because you were able to have that discernment and focus and aim towards where you're meant to be going, and integrity, right? It's
Right.
all that.
Right.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. So
Yeah. All
that's how I
right. So
see it.
in this to 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Again, yeah, you know what it is, man.
We do it. Means we still stopped and there's still more, right? So
Yes, indeed.
that you need to come back for round 3.
Hey, you already know, man. I stay ready.
Okay, so
You let me know the time.
okay. So Gio, please tell everybody where they can find you. Please let them know you are the founder of The World Inspires. Am I correct?
Indeed,
You
indeed,
are
I am.
a mindset coach.
Yes,
You
indeed.
do readings, and you do a self mastery. You help people in their self mastery.
Yes.
Where they can find besides, well, tell them about your IG and where else they can find you.
Beautiful. Okay, so for anybody, but first of all, thank you so much once again for having me and for blessing me with this space in general, and being able to even just share some thoughts and some things that was working through me through source for your spectators or for anybody that needs to hear this in the general. You can find me on I have Geoffrey Johny. This is my page, Geoffrey Johny HD. So GEOFFREY JOHNY HD. That's me. And I created the World Inspires, where basically I share all my knowledge there as well, my wisdom and my thoughts as well in my services. So as Sandra said as well, I do readings, I do coachings, one-on-one coachings and consultations as well. And I'm also co-creating a course in itself for anybody that wants to be on this kind of mindset and progress through life in general, because I think mainly it's about us impacting and through our own experiences. So we have all our experiences that we gathered through our life that gave us this wisdom. And for us to convey this message onto the world, we have to know how to package it for the world to experience it as well, because we have to cherish our own wisdom, which is our own experiences. If I've improved myself in going from becoming, I don't know, not having the right mindset to having the best mindset that I know can help others as well, because I can see others where I was at one point in time, it's my duty to gather all the information that I used for me to get from point A to point B to deliver to the people as well, that they can also find it easier for themselves to proceed and overcome that challenge in life, right? That's mainly what it is. So wherever the case may be, if you need some assistance when it comes to mindset, manifesting, health, any kind of things, emotions, spirituality, I'm your guy, you feel me? I'm gonna bring it out to you real quick and help you as well. Or even you need a reading when it comes to a love life or anything like that, I'm also your guy as well. I do make music, so I feel like my life is a beautiful life, man. I experience life in many different states of my own experience, and this time right here is that I want to say my highest calling, because even when I get to my highest calling, there will be a higher calling when I get there. So, it's only energy doesn't never end. It only goes and it transmutes and it transmutes and it transmutes. So
Yeah.
that's mainly what it is. But I know that where I am right now is mainly to assist the world by giving it my wisdom, sharing my voice, and sharing my knowledge, and being a vessel for a source to come through and express itself. So this is what I'm here for. And I appreciate you, and I represent that to the World Inspires. That's
Thank,
really what it is.
thank you. And let's give everybody, let's give Geo a warm, warm thank you from the depths of our hold on. It's doing it again. Okay. No toku una hia nei. No tio no toku uti shi no toku unai. Ma to shandai. Shandai uti en sien se ke no toku ua. Ne tai yusho no toku una hia ne. Ne chusha na toku una hia se utai im. Ne tai utan take tai. Uno ko Handa hai she so to ku ucho she ne u she na te ku o tai I makai she no ku shi no tu u na I ne tu sha na te ji shi no ku u na kai ese na ha ne so to ku a ne she to ku a ne ho te hia ne ho te hia to ku she no to a ne shi na ka yese na toku o na hia na ne sha na ko a se yeshe na ho te shi no ko o ashe te sanda kia ashe. Thank you for being part of this this podcast. Source thanks you. Source thanks everyone in the room. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Gia, for being part of this wisdom and understanding that Source has moved in this room. Thank you for extending your spirit of love and understanding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for allowing your wisdom and understanding to go out on your energy. I hope that you do not call it back because you have more that is overflowing in your cup. No toku untai ishi ne te ke poko chia tai ia ne o chia she na te ia kuna ia te shodo toku unai ia she no toku ai. I close this sacred podcast with 10845 with love and understanding for everybody's spirit that extended their spirit and received wisdom and understanding. Carry it back with you. Stand on the leading edge of creation and create your vessel, create your home, create your life, create your love, create your children, create your families, create. No toku un toku shishi na ta ia nai kia na hia sho no toku o nai un dai ia shi no toku un ta kia na. So I just want you to know that it is always in your background. Call them forward. They are always there. They are never far. They are close as your breath and as close as your hands and as close as your feet. Chishi no toku un e shi no toku nai. Ne tushi na hia na hani. Na ho tushi na te o na hia she. She o ta hia na sho she. She o ta hia na poko sha. Sha u na. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, beautiful goddess. I just want to give you your flowers as well. A Source, when you were just expressing yourself, Source was definitely speaking to me as well and letting me know that you are been doing the work, and the work that you've been doing is glorified, and it's essential for our wealth, for our inner wealth, our external wealth as well. But the teachings that you teach are foundations to the whole experience in itself, and you're giving it a beautiful way by showing up, by reading to us every day, by giving your love and sharing your energy and your compassion, your unconditional love to us every day, whether if it's through a post or a live as well. So we thank you, we see you, we appreciate you. You're being a guide by showing the world that we are able to do that no matter where we are in life. No matter what age, whatever time it is, we are here to show in the work by giving the love, by being our authentic self. No matter how it looks, no matter how it feels, no matter how it is, it's us being real. Because we are able to speak our truth no matter even if our voice shakes. And that does so much for the world as well, to show us that it's possible. And that's what we're here for, to inspire. So we thank you and we
Thank you.
appreciate your energy, your
Thank you.
unconditional energy. It's always being received, and it's impactful. When I opened up my eyes, it was all like, I don't know, something within your light language that has activated, and I was seeing things so in a dream state. I was like, whoa. So I love it.
Where I feel I go, but I go I go somewhere. Right? Somewhere that is not here in this
And
dimension.
it's so
Yeah.
mystical and high frequency that's when it comes here and it's being transmuted and translated in this energy. You cannot put words into it because words also has weight in itself,
Right.
and it's just about vibration. It's received, and it's
Thank,
beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
thank you. And before we go, I have a spot in June, the end of June, June 30th. Please
Okay.
let me know if you take that one. Okay.
Should be all right.
Hmm?
Should be all right. I'll definitely speak to you more, but it should definitely be fine.
Okay.
Should be honest.
Yes.
Every time is divine, so we know the vibes.
Yeah. Source is saying that this information that we're sharing is she is go true. Take she not to go. Yeah. So I want to thank everyone for joining in. Thank you for joining Soul Conversations with Sandra. Thank you for being part of this wonderful conversation with God. I've got so much going on in my head with Geo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to, for anybody who has just come in, you have not missed anything because I will save this. This will be part of my bio. And it will also be on my, it will be on my YouTube,
Spotify.
and Spotify and iTunes. And it is under Soul Awakening with Sandra. And you just look at it's called, I have a podcast folder called Soul Conversations with Sandra. It's all there. So please, if you missed anything and you desire, you feel free.
Feel free, because that's there for you to cherish and nourish yourself. I love to subscribe personally to certain things that activate the DNA within myself to awaken myself to a better reality in general for that, because this is mainly what it is. When the world is changing, and as we know, if it changes, that means it's upgrading itself, and we are the same way as nature, right? So we upgrade ourselves as well. There's some dormant DNA or dormant psychic abilities that we have within ourselves they're dormant. You feel me? And they're being waiting for us to be awakened, but we're not able to awaken if you keep on paying attention or living the lifestyle that we've been on these things. However, when I personally, I can't speak on my own journey, but when I came across Sandra and all her content and the conversation that we have, we're able to activate each other's, stimulate each other to awaken certain parts within our own self to come here, show up in that source spirit through our own self as well. So the more you relate yourself with people like on this energy, on these frequencies, they will also propel you to be on that same energy. The same way how like I can smile right now, and you guys, if you allow yourself to be stimulated by my smile, you'll smile back.
Right.
It's the same way. This is the same energy. You know, the information is all here that we're expressing. We can have this conversation with me and Sandra all day, every day, and it will only impact us. But the people that are also listening, if you allow it to impact you with an open mind and also apply everything that we've been speaking about, not just for entertainment, but for you to actually, look at the world from that point of view. interact with the world from that point of view, in that meditative state, and being able to be discerning of all situations, you're able to have your own experience in a better way, all because you chose to allow yourself to be upgraded and move differently in general. So make sure you stay subscribed, you stay aligned with these kind of conversations, and you follow us on every kind of platform, you feel me? Because maybe you might be on your Instagram and this is what's picking you up right now, but at one point in time you're gonna go on your YouTube channel or your YouTube platform, whatever it can be, and start watching other videos. But if you don't follow Sandra, you might not follow that video, and you might follow some other old stuff, right? So you want to make sure you follow us on everything in general, and they'll only do better.
And there's so much. Know this with love. Try things on for size. One size does not fit all. That's why there are so many of us waking up to the call of serving. We're serving not only by doing videos, we're serving by doing the videos, we're serving by reading books, we're serving by reading tarot cards, we're serving by reading oracle cards, we're serving by singing, and we're serving by dancing, we're serving by getting people out and exercising. The serving, it's endless. It's an open possibility of how you serve. We will not serve all in one way. There's infinite possibilities. So try what we say on for size. Tailor it to you. Wear it for a little while. See if it fits you. If it doesn't fit you, it doesn't make me hurt. It doesn't make a Geo hurt. It just means that you're going, well, let me see who else follows Geo. Let me see what they're. Let me see who else follows Sandy. What are they saying? You know, because it might just be how things are presented, and how you're referencing it based on the words that you have for you. So with that said, I close this space with love and wisdom and peace and everything that is source.
In highest form for us to progress to the best version of ourselves in general.
Because we could go on forever.
Yes,
we really could.
I was gonna tap in and say something more, but let me just. I'm actually gonna keep on flowing.
Okay, so everyone, be blessed today. Have a wonderful week. Actually, it's supposed to be a 3-day weekend, so enjoy.
Hey, let's go. It's time to shine, baby. Let's work. So thank you so much for everybody that came and joined us and vibe with us, contributed. Even though me and Sonny were speaking, you guys were giving us energy as well by paying attention, right? So we appreciate you for your energy and for your time as well. And make sure you have a beautiful time, and let this conversation move right through you for you to have a beautiful day as well.
Stand on the leading edge of creation and create. Be the magnificent God that is moving in, through, and as you today. Thank you. And I'll talk with you later, Gio. Bye-bye.
Bye. Peace and love, my people.